The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Damn, damn, damn!
All right, someone's mic's really loud. Whose mic is? I don't.
Is it me?
Maybe is it? Yeah, that's. Is it just turn the gain down?
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, all right. Wow, it was super loud when we came in. All right, everyone, welcome everybody. We are back. We do not have Joe tonight. Joe said he wasn't feeling well and needed to see a couple of do-it-yourself videos starring Corey Chase. Welcome, Krell Bar.
How's it going?
And Matt, welcome.
Hey, I got to say, I loved that autumn rain, gloomy piece at the beginning. I loved it. Don't change that.
Yeah.
Leave
All
it
right.
for a
I
while.
was waiting
a
for
winner.
Pennywise to pop out of the sewer.
I was like digging that. I was like, it's very Halloween feeling.
Yeah. I tried to find music that was a little bit more Blade Runner-ish with that high synth, like that. What do they call that synth? What's that guy's name? Prophet. The Prophet, like the old Prophet 5s.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the closest I could find that had something similar. So I was like, I'll take this, even though it's a little haunted. It's a little haunted mansion type of whatever.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Martin,
So,
33.
and yeah. Hey, welcome. So Martin, welcome. Andrew Collins, Hugh Caldwell, Janice, Charlie S, and Jan, welcome. Hannah Baum, and I could see Krell Bars in there 3 or 4 times. And so let's see what happens today. Let me just see to brush up on my day. I am looking forward to a cigar after. It's been a crazy day. I had my student started earlier today, so threw my whole day in for a loop. Quickly, just to talk about some food stuff. I went to a barbecue on Saturday, and it was very good for my ego. A lot of people who I haven't seen in a long time telling me I look like 20 years younger than when they first met me and started calling me Benjamin Button.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, thank you. And then there was a couple that was basically asking me all about the diet. This guy was diabetic. And so I'll be bringing up his status and how he's doing. But he's 3 days in, down a few pounds. Blood sugar's going way down. It's really interesting. He's really super surprised at how he's taking on it. Yeah, I don't know if cigars help with testosterone. I've never had. You know what helps with testosterone? Like really boosting testosterone? Testosterone, folks. You can take a shot, a cc of it, about 250 milligrams. Go see your doctor or pharmacist. They want to write you a prescription for everything, anyways.
Did they say how cigars help with testosterone?
Right.
I've never heard that.
The only thing I've ever heard positive about cigars is that Latina women find it sexy. No, I'm kidding. That it actually relaxes you, and because of stress being one of the main killers of adult males,
That's what my doctor said.
that and wives.
Well, they make me dizzy and nauseous. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it really depends. Like if you build up a tolerance to the nicotine, I guess it would be the tobacco.
No,
the tobacco.
When I first started smoking cigars, it was like in the late 90s. And first ones I had were actual Cubans. I'd sit there puffing on them, no problem. And then as time went on, I'd just have a cigar every now and then, and I felt like crap. Felt like my head was in a vice, didn't know what was happening. It took me a few years to figure it out. And it was the cigar.
You continued that way for a few years.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it was the cigars. I thought something was fucked up.
Thank you, Matt, for pointing that out.
No,
I didn't know what to say.
I didn't smoke cigars that often, but I never made the connection.
Every time I smoked a cigar, I would wake up in a funny place. I would have hair all over my body, and I'd be howling at the moon. How often did this go on? About 20 years.
Yeah. It's like my head's in a vice. Well,
But I finally figured it out, and then when I took it up again a few years ago, I was very cautious and stuff. I built up a little tolerance. Now I'm fine.
I think there's a werewolf in this neighborhood. No, it's just Krellbar smoking a Nicaraguan.
Did a cow shit in here?
Exactly. Harry's still smoking those stinky cigars. I have a question for people in the chat. I want to know, lately I've been watching, I still can't believe how bad carbs are for digestion. Don't mess with them. Yeah, Hugh, it's the best to stay away. It really is. So we were talking back in the green room, which by any means is not green, nor is it
not a room.
The snacks suck there.
whatever. We were talking about lately. I've been watching. There's a game that a lot of the gamers play called Only Up. And if you guys haven't seen this game, it's addicting watching people play it. It's what they call a
Waste of time.
no. What do you call it? It's a speed run game. Like it's a game that's timed, but it's interesting. And because of this, I actually found it because I do watch a channel by the name of Dr. Disrespect. Is anybody in the chat familiar with said doctor? The two-time champion of the blockbuster video game. The two-time champion. The 6'8", two-time champion.
He can only win twice? Wow, what a loser.
Then Blockbuster.
The guy's gold.
Didn't have the championship anymore.
The guy is gold. Anyway, so nobody knows who he is. Well, I highly recommend checking out his channel. He only has, he went live this afternoon when I was smoking a cigar, and there was only 26,000 people watching his live show.
Boy, there's a lot of people with nothing better to do with their time.
To do. Oh, absolutely. But I tell you, I was smoking a cigar. He's thoroughly enjoyable, but people are throwing cash at him like it's going out of business. I mean, he literally, a show must make 50 grand. It's insane. And all I'm saying to you people in the chat who aren't throwing me money, go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, I could not believe this guy. And there was a one time, his name is Dr. Disrespect. That's his channel name.
Dr. Dipshit.
Dr. Disrespect. He's funny as hell. Matt, I know you would enjoy him just because he's funny. It's a joke, and he's funny as hell.
All right.
He's like one of these. He had this little kid on, and the little kid was asking him about what kind of controller he had, and he's like, "What kind of controller do you have?" And obviously, Dr. Disrespect is sponsored by Razer, so he's telling the kid to get this one, and he's like, "No, yours is junk." Like the kid's probably 9 years old. You can hear he's got a little voice, and he's like, "Nope, the kid, it's shit." "Oh, you got it for Christmas? I don't want to beat up on your Christmas present, but I'll get you. It was just very funny. I mean, he's just, and then the kid almost shat himself when he was like, "Do you know who Dr. Disrespect is?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm him." And he goes, "I'm shaking." Like the kid was shaking. He was like, "No way. I watched your video." It was really funny.
YouTube influencer.
Yeah. But the guys, I mean, honestly, I had no idea that this subworld culture, this culture was going on. And I'll tell you right now, folks, if you have any questions about why manufacturing in the United States is terrible, why our medicine is gone through the shit, why all of everything that we've done has been outdone by other countries, I suggest you start watching gamer videos and see where the future is. Because if this has been going on for a few years, folks, we're in some trouble. These people, I mean, this is
longer.
It's unbelievable. It's
Razor Fist, the Rageaholic there. He does gaming stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I started watching. I always watch this one guy as Gray still plays because he's got a friend of his that designs private courses for him to try to challenges in GTA. Grand Theft Auto 5. So I was watching him for a bit, and then my brother kind of suggested I check out Dr. Disrespect, and totally I got the joke right away. The guy's fucking gold, funny as hell. It's just it's super entertaining, and but at the same time, it's like I'll watch it for 15 minutes here. If I'm smoking a cigar, I'll put it on for a minute, and oh yeah, we'll talk about that the Marshall combo. I'm still tweaking with it. The one day that I tweaked with it once, I really got a nice sound, but it was like fucking 90 degrees with humidity. I was like, I'm putting this amp away. I'm dying. So that went by the way.
Dude, come down here. It's like fucking 99, but feels like 110.
Oh, it's the worst. But anyways, I really like, it's funny. I like the Marshall Clean. I think the Marshall Clean is cool. It's so funny because like everyone likes the Stevie Ray sound when they play the blues with the tube screamer and I understand why they use a tube screamer too with the Fenders because it really compresses and adds a lot of compression that the Marshall kind of already has. But Hendrix and stuff, that's the guys who he's imitating was playing Marshalls.
Yeah.
That Hendrix sound was that Marshall sound, that clean, which is a nice clean. I really like it. I think the Marshall has a great clean.
Yeah.
It's different than the it's more compressed. Naturally, I would say. 310E. I used to record before I got my first Taylor, I used to go to a studio that I was a session guy at, and the house guitar was a 2000. So the 2001 is going to have the Fishman setup, if I'm not mistaken, Hugh. And I believe this was like a 2003, same setup. The 310E. Actually, the one I played might have been a CE. The 310E doesn't have a cutaway. The other one has a cutaway, but the Prefix Plus Fishman. Yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, because I think in 2004, Taylor switched over to the. Did I see the new Van Halen guitars?
I did. If they're the ones I'm thinking of, there's like a few of the star-shaped ones, and they've got, and it's really weird because they have like two of the Frankenstrats, but they're just solid red and solid black. There's no, they're like relic, but there's no striping or any weird paint jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
What's funny is, in the guitar world, we're everyone is so Eddie Van Halen, especially on YouTube. I noticed there's either guys playing nothing but Eddie or Stevie Ray type guys that do the blues, and it's like trying to crack the Stevie Ray Vaughan code.
Mm-hmm.
I think to myself, like, fuck, like Gilmour sold a lot of records and had a great tone. I was listening to Dogs today. That fucking tone in Dogs, every tone is acoustic, is electrics.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy Page and it's just like, what the hell? Like, these guys had great tones and you guys want to see. I mean, it's just, the other night a buddy of mine texted me. He lives in LA, and it was like some 14-year-old kid playing Eruption on TikTok, and it was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. But it's like to see a guy who's like just trying to nail Van Halen. I'm like, it's got to be better than okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. Yeah. But the average person has no fucking idea. And this guy's not a guitar player, so he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. But it was like, I hate it. It's like
To me,
would
that's
be like
I
it would be
was
like
just gonna
sending a
say.
video to Tiger Woods showing a guy 3-putting. He'd be like, "What?"
Well, I get tired of the videos where it's like, oh, look at this little kid who can do this. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you can train a monkey to do a backflip. It's like it big fucking deal. I mean, the kid,
Yeah.
like, there was a kid who like would sit there and like get in front of a video or a big TV, and he would imitate like a Bruce Lee thing from a movie, and he would do it just like it. It's like, well, yeah, but you know, who cares? He's just, you know, imitating something. He didn't
Right.
come up with it. He didn't like originate anything. He's just a little mimic, you know?
Right.
So,
And then there's this,
And we all know there's only one Bruce Leroy,
yeah.
the greatest.
there's like 16-year-old girls on there too that learn a few pentatonic licks, and all of a sudden they're getting called on stage with these name brand acts.
Right.
look
Oh,
at
yeah.
this. It's like.
Well, how big is
But
your
in the
cleavage?
meantime, there's
Oh, it's
girls
that
on
big?
there's girls on YouTube that can play the hell out of the guitar too.
Yeah,
What I
but
can't
they
stand
don't
is the
write it.
guys that do all the open string tapping and arrangements of songs and open tunings, and it's like, oh my god, that sounds great.
Have you
You'd be
seen-
great in a subway.
Have you seen this guy? I think his name's Alan Gogoli or something like that. He's an acoustic player, but he does this harmonic thing that's really unique, and it sounds like chimey and very like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the,
He does it really
tap
fast.
and pull a string, or you pull an open string and
But
tap the harmonic.
every fucking
harmonics.
thing he plays has that in it, and it's like, dude, you're wearing out the novelty there.
Yeah.
Every song.
Let me
is-
repeat my joke that got totally killed. That would be great in a subway.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, it's not like you're going to cut records or play with a band. Hey, Eric Clapton's going to bring you up on stage. Here's a guy that fucking makes a fucking boatload of noise on his guitar. He's going to play an acoustic. We're all going to shut the fuck up. 2 seconds in, the audience is going to be going, get him in the subway. Let's fucking see the band play.
Did we talk about Andy Wood? Do you know who Andy Wood is?
I only see his name in these videos that come in, but I've never watched a video of it.
Oh, dude, that guy is fucking amazing, dude. I mean, he can play Brent Mason shit, like not like copying him, but that style to a T. And then he can play Paul Gilbert shit to a T.
Right.
I mean, the guy's just
he's a good player.
He's awesome, dude. But he also
Right.
writes really cool shit on his own. He's
Yeah.
got, I think he's got one called Junk Town or something like that. But if you look him up on YouTube and go to, you know, like Andy Wood Music or something like that, he's got a little series called The Woodshed where he.
Oh, yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, check him out. But the intro to that is one of his original tunes. And I mean, he writes great stuff. He's not just a great technician. He's like a great, you know, musician. I mean, he writes really good songs too. So definitely, you know, would tell anyone watching, check out Andy Wood, because he's one of those guys that can like do it all, you know.
Hey, the sustaining note. I was listening to Spotify, and one of the commercials was this guy that plays that tap style guitar where he's playing everything open, and he's like, I have my new album. It's me playing all Stevie Wonder's songs. Look, you know, go to this channel if you want to hear more, or look up my name. And I'm like, or I could just rather listen to Stevie Wonder songs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what the fuck is where are we missing here? You know, and I, you know, in the commercial you can hear it, and the only thing I can think of is that would be pretty good in the subway.
Well, you know what else gets really old is these guys who use the acoustic guitar as a fucking drum all the time.
Well, that's part of it. They sit there and they bang on it because it's easy to bang on a guitar when every string is playing a chord. So it's like, yeah, you tap it. Yeah, go play that with a fucking standard tune guitar. Watch how you sound like a fucking idiot.
Well,
I like
They
what
have
Tommy
this open
Emmanuel
tuning, and then
does.
occasionally they'll hit a fret, and it's like, it's like, oh, that is fucking
I like
talent.
what
You know
Tommy
that would sound
Emmanuel
good?
does with it, though.
yeah,
Yeah, but you know what that would
Does,
sound good?
in the subway.
Exactly. I think it's funny. You know who doesn't find it funny? Beetlejuice.
Guys in the
You
subway.
think it's fucking funny. It's not fucking funny.
Well, the guys that just beat on it like that, it's like, you know what? Michael Hedges probably did it best.
Bingo.
To get it first.
Yeah.
And
Aerial Boundaries, was that his album that he first
Yeah.
started doing all that shit? Yeah.
yeah. And he probably did it best in first, and it should have died with him because
Right. And that was what, like Wyndham Hill Records, when they said to,
Yes.
and I believe they said to George Winston, by the way, you're going to be playing the Opera House tonight, and Michael Hedges, the Subway. Get your coffee, kid, buddy. You're playing the Subway tonight. Hey, we booked you at the Subway.
I actually saw Michael Hedges live one time, and it was a really good concert, but he did a cover of Madonna's Lucky Star, where he actually sang it and made it funny. And man, people were cracking up just because the words he emphasized and things, he made it funny, kind of made a joke out of the song. But he was entertaining. I mean, what a hell of a way to die too, that guy.
Car crash.
Well, no, he went over like a cliff in the car. I mean, he didn't hit another car. He went over and
Well, he knew no aerial boundaries there.
Yeah, he knew no aerial boundaries.
Right. I've seen George Winston live a few times.
He's out.
And he was great because Winston did like a whole tribute to Vince Guaraldi. He was really a big Vince Guaraldi fan.
I have a CD of his that we used to play in the winter, and I think it's called Winter. And it's a great album. December. Yes. December. Yeah. That's
Wasn't Alone But Not Alone. Wasn't that on Wyndham Hill as well? Larry Carlton, his all acoustic album.
Oh, Discovery, maybe.
I thought it was Alone But Not Alone.
Maybe. I don't know. This December is a great album. I think Autumn is a better album. The one before it with Leaves Dance or whatever that thing is called. But he was apparently a huge Vince Guaraldi fan, and Vince Guaraldi was a huge fan of heroin.
So was Miles Davis.
Honestly, have you ever seen a Christmas show / movie, whatever the hell you want to call it, a feature presentation that is more depressing than a Charlie Brown Christmas time?
I know.
It's like, just get me the rope. Lots of Christmas cheer.
Because
let me drink myself to death.
Comic strip to begin with. I mean, Charlie Brown
was depressing.
Win. Yeah.
You made a drastic change. What does that mean? Drastic change. So I saw somebody had a comment earlier, and I kind of glossed over. Rick Grimes did. He said, if you could have 5 albums, what would they be? Because what's his name's not here tonight. And I think all 3 of us would probably have like the most different sounding island ever.
Yeah.
And all right, you guys have forget about 5 because that would be a law. What about 2 albums you have to bring?
Oh,
I have to think of some.
You can bring 5, but these are going to be your first 2 that you want to lock in so no one else gets them.
Just keep it down to rock because there's a lot of jazz.
Yeah, because you can. I mean,
we didn't keep it down. It's whatever you think it is. What do you mean?
It depends on what kind of mood you're in. I mean,
but you have 5 albums to bring, but these are going to be your first 2 that definitely, no question, are in the 2.
No.
Can it be hits? Can be anything you want. There's no judging. I mean, obviously, if you're going on your own island, it would have to be, okay, Martin says Revolver. Off the Wall would be one, says Andrew Collins. Wow, there's 2 albums that I don't know if they'd make my top 5. Off the Wall might. I don't know that. Wait, what was the other one did he say?
Wow. I mean, with my current taste right now, it's like
Revolver.
Do you remember back in 2021 we did the albums of '86, and that "Color of Spring" by Talk Talk I put like at number 6, top 10. That has since moved up closer to so I put that at number 2, replacing the thing. And I've been just so into that album lately. So I mean, like if you ask me today, that'd be one of them. And
Martin says Crisis, What Crisis, which is a fantastic Supertramp album. However, I don't know if Supertramp's making it on my trip to that island.
Oh, yeah. I'd bring box sets, that's for sure. Zeppelin box
whatever you do, bring electricity, because otherwise you ain't hearing shit.
Yeah, exactly. Wait. The professor made a radio out of a coconut, so I can get power from banana. I can get power from
Ricky Compton says Physical Graffiti, Women and Children First, or Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Honestly, Physical Graffiti's going with me. It's one of my 2.
Yeah. Everybody knows that one too, but I just said get the box set and friggin' all the albums.
No, you have to get 2 box sets to get all the album because the first box set wasn't complete. You had to get a 4
No,
set. And
well,
a 3
I
set.
I had the complete one.
I've got.
Oh, maybe there was the complete. It just wasn't in order.
The complete one got ripped off out of my desk at work.
I would say Physical Graffiti, and I'm just going to say mine right now. Blue Nile Hats would be in mine. Those
Never
2
even
albums I'd be
heard
good
of
with.
that.
It's okay.
No, I'm just saying. I've never heard of it.
They're a Scottish band. The record came out in 1989. It's a very low melancholy album, very much in line with if you ever listen to Roxy Music Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that vein of like.
I know that. We used to play that album in the record store I worked at back in the 80s.
I used to love To Turn You On that album, and Tara. I love that record.
Because there was the song Avalon, it's so this.
Now the party's over.
And I used to make
so
fun of him. I'd say
tired.
when he says Avalon,
Avalon.
I'd say mow the lawn.
Hey, Dave, you might find this interesting. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 last week, and I actually thought it was a good movie. I think it's the best out of the 3. But the
Didn't
music
you tell us that
soundtrack
last week?
Yeah, but the thing is that the soundtrack is a little more up to date.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little more modern stuff along with the older stuff. And there was actually a the song on there.
Which one?
Yeah, I had to look it up because it's like This Is the Day.
First album. You didn't wake up this morning because you didn't go to bed. You were watching the whites of your eyes turn red.
No, I hate what the whole Marvel universe is doing right now. But I mean, like that was I was entertained by that movie. It's kind of dark.
All right, so a lot of people. Steve Miller was a favorite. Really, Steve Miller?
Oh, I can't stand Steve Miller.
I like him, but I don't love him.
Coming
Nashville
from the town I'm
Skyline,
in,
absolutely. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Jonathan McCullough says Pat Metheny, Still Life. Someone said Rumors. Let me just read off some of these records.
Rumors are good.
461 Ocean Boulevard and Steve Miller Band's Greatest Hits. Those are 2 albums that I might not bring if I had 100 to take. I'm sorry, Everett, but that just is not my taste.
You know how much I hate Steve Miller's catalog is I think Abracadabra was his better song.
Oh my God.
And it's such a shitty song. I just can't stand Steve
Yeah,
Miller.
when Crowbar used to get the mail, they'd be like, the Sears catalog's here and the Steve Miller catalog. And he's like, I'll take the Sears. I'll go upstairs with the Sears catalog. Leftoverture. Really?
Oh, there you go.
I don't think Leftoverture is the best Kansas album, although I love that record.
Kansas.
Tubular Bells.
Mike Oldfield.
Ben Tom is here. Welcome, Bent. Or welcome, Tom.
Trivia time.
There's
What
the
movie made Tubular
MFSL
Bells
Led Zeppelin
famous?
2, which is a cool
Well,
set.
I know that.
You should know that. Everyone should.
Yeah.
Know that.
Well, I'm a horror movie buff.
Hide
Yeah.
in your shell when you're down.
But did you also know that Mike Oldfield wrote Family Man, the song that Hall & Oates made a hit?
Who made a hit?
Hall & Oates made a minor hit with Family Man. That was actually a Mike Oldfield
Terrible song. Terrible. He said, leave me alone. Ooh, Whitesnake, Slide It In. I think there's no comparison between Slide It In and the Whitesnake self-eponymous album. Thunder and Lightning is an interesting one.
Oh, that's a great album.
Yeah, Rob, I know it's you. I know that's you. Not to the suggestive section of the... Yeah, the suggestive section. Actually, when I want to go to a blues, before I go to blues jams, I make sure I look through the Sears catalog to the Blues Man collection. I have a suit, a little blues tie, some Jerry curl. Axis
$100
Bold
guitar.
as Love. First, he changed the name. Who do we think we are? Okay, so a lot of people are mentioning some Deep Purple stuff, and all I have to say to you, as Cheech and Chong says in the end of the first Cheech and Chong album, are you out of your fucking mind? No, there'll be no Deep Purple on my island.
No.
So somebody posted the other. You guys ever see when I post like questions in the community? So there was a guy who posted a question in the community. It was like, what is the best album of 1984? And it had 4 choices, and without a doubt, I chose Whitesnake's Slide It In because I think it's not even close. The other 3 albums were, let me try to think. Ride the Lightning was one. Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers.
And Van Halen 1984, probably.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was the 4th. Okay, so I said, and I commented, I said, it's got to be Whitesnake, Slide It In, and it's not even close because every song on that album is fucking epic. Ride the Lightning, there's some great stuff on it. There's some boring stuff on it. 1984 has fucking Panama and House of Pain, which I do not like those 2 songs. What's that, man?
Oh, I thought you were gonna name some of the songs off that album. There's a few good songs on there, but yeah, I don't think that's
there's some great
album.
I like
there's some great songs on it, but there's some dogs. Yeah. House of Pain is terrible.
Yeah.
And the Deep Purple one, I don't even think the 2 hits are listenable. Sweet Lucy was a dancer. Oh, somebody just fucking snip my balls off, would you please? I never want to hear that again. And what's the other one? We must remain I'm sorry. Ian Gillan cannot get more boring for me. I would, and this is no slam on Deep Purple. I would rather listen to an album of just trashed 10 times. We were doing about 100 and it was terrible, and it was burning. I'd rather listen to that 10 times in a row than have to listen to any song on Perfect Strangers. I am sorry. I do not like that record.
Well, if you remember, that had a lot of hype with it because the Mach 4 lineup got back together again. And there was
Don't I do a lesson on it, Cheech? I thought I did a lesson on Love Ain't No Stranger. The only thing I could say to Cheech about that is, listen, who knows where the cold wind blows? I asked my friends and nobody knows. Who am I to believe in love? Lord have mercy. Love Ain't No Stranger. I love that song. I definitely did the solo to the song somewhere on my channel, Cheech. I don't know if I taught it, but I thought I did. Ride the Lightning's my favorite Megadeth album. That's funny, Rob. Fair Warning. Yeah, Fair Warning or... I
know your favorite's Women and Children.
It is Women and Children. But Fair Warning I love. Like, I love side 1. And you know, I've said this before. You could take some side 1s and side of better albums and lose against another album. Like, I think The Waiting... What's that album called? Hard Promises by Tom Petty. I think that album's not as good as Damn the Torpedoes.
No, I think Damn the Torpedoes
but side 1, no, Damn the Torpedoes is better. But side 1 of Hard Promises is better than the side of Damn the Torpedoes. So it's weird how stuff like that goes. So I think like, and I brought that up for some reason. And I can't remember why, because there was an album. Oh, Fair Warning. Fair Warning side 1 is fucking unstoppable. Oh. Mean Streets into Sinner's Swing. Oh, Dirty Movies, Sinner's Swing, and then Hear About It Later. Hike the fucking football. All they could do was drop the ball. All they had to do was walk it over the fucking end zone, but they couldn't. They had to come out with 1 foot out the door, which was, what the hell is this? There's that weird volume drop that always bothered me, and So This Is Love.
Yeah.
You ever notice it? It goes,
then right before singing, the bass just drops out.
Everything drops out. It's like, what the hell happened? I always thought it was me, and I always want to go back and remix that to fix it. And Push Comes to Shove is fantastic. Unchained, I always hated. I can't say I hated. I liked it. But then when other bands were like being credited as being good for writing the same song, like Mother Don't Want to Go to School Today by Extreme. And it's like, can I just hear this on fucking Fair Warning? What the hell's going on here? Right, and then everyone's
like,
that's
not a good Extreme song.
Nuno's just like Eddie. Well, you mean because he's playing Unchained?
Nuno is not just like Eddie.
No. I think Nuno's a fucking great player. Mm-hmm. But I think he has shit for understanding how to get the right people around him. You know, there was a guy who hired me once, and he was from London, and we toured around, and went to London, and we had a conversation over breakfast one day, and the conversation was about how he thinks that there's some type of like synergy or serendipity when certain people find each other and they become, a unit, very much like Lennon McCartney, you could say Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. You could, but you could say he brought up Joe Perry and Steve Tyler. And you could bring up Eddie and David Lee Roth, because clearly, in my opinion, when Eddie and Sammy Hagar play together, Van Hagar is a great band. Don't get me wrong. It's just not fucking Van Halen. And it's not in the same playing field as Van Halen. It's like it's a different kind of band.
Yeah.
I would say Van Halen is more at that point like a Night Ranger. And not as good. I'll take Night Ranger's first three. I'll take Night Ranger's first 3 records over the first 3 Van Halen albums. With Sammy.
I was never into Van Hagar that much.
Yeah, because fucking Dawn Patrol. What was the second one called? That You Can Still Rock in America.
Oh,
Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness.
And then the one with
Seven Wishes.
Fucking 3 great records.
I never even heard the third one.
Oh, yeah, you did, because it had Goodbye, the big hit, Goodbye on it. And it had Saw You Walking Out on Sentimental Street.
Not a fan of that song. But.
Oh.
I don't remember the third Night Ranger album. I just remember the first 2.
If you looked up the song Goodbye, you would know Goodbye, because it was big around the time when Mr. Big came out with I'm the One Who Want, and they were both songs in E. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, well,
but Goodbye by Night Ranger is a much better tune.
Yeah, they would get popular on that acoustic song when you had a bunch of shredders in the friggin' band.
Yeah, Mr. Big's doing their next reunion tour, minus the deceased drummer, of course. But
yeah, Hugh says Van Who, because in England and Scotland they weren't the big thing, and I have to say here it was very different, because here we have. You had different groups of people. You had the back then they didn't really call themselves the Goths or the Vamps, but that's kind of what they were. They always wore the dark makeup. They listened to Echo and the Bunnymen and the Cure. There was that group of people. I mean, honestly, these people are just fat and not attractive, and they don't feel good about themselves, so they figure they want to get. And I'm not making this up. This is honestly my opinion. They want to get themselves into a cost. You'd never see like a real hot chick with big boobs, with the jet black hair and the makeup, unless she was doing porn. The people that were listening to this stuff, it's almost like, it's just what it is. Anyways, and honestly, you didn't really see too many girls into metal. Attractive girls anyways, because number one, those guys that listen to metal were so into like the musicianship and everything that whole fucking thing is very gay anyways. I say to you, if you are gay and you're into younger men, go to a metal show. What are you guys doing? It's all dudes. It's a sausage fest, and you can sit there and all you have to say is, oh my God, that guy's so talented. I say he's the best. And then this guy's going to be drinking with you. Next thing you know, you'll be chipped to us. You'll be pinned to a sophomore named Chip. But, and then like the girls, the attractive girls went and listened to girls' music. It wasn't like, but Van Halen was very big on the radio here. I guess not so big in Europe. But then again, I'm assuming Deep Purple was bigger in Europe.
Well, dude, there were a lot of girls at the Van Halen shows.
Well, Van Halen was different because that was the first part of the hair bands. That wasn't metal.
Yeah.
That was party rock.
Yeah.
When I think of Van Halen, I think of that Y&T video for Summertime Girls.
Mm-hmm.
How good was Dave? You know what? Dave Meniketti doesn't ever get the credit that he deserves.
Yeah. For
an 80s rocker who sang his balls off and fucking could shred. Meniketti was excellent. I love the song "Don't." You better keep on running, don't stop.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That was a great tune. Yeah, see, in England, Deep Purple was huge. Deep Purple didn't get much love here. Honestly, growing up on the radio, you would hear "Smoke on the Water," "Woman from Tokyo," And if you were unlucky,
Space
they would
Truckin'.
play Child in Time, and you'd have to suffer through that fucking madness.
Space Truckin' was played quite
Space Truckin' Summer, but that was more in high school when somebody would play it on their boombox more than the radio would play it. The radio wasn't so big on it. But then when everything came out, you know, like when they came back out with Purple, yeah, Hush was kind of big, but that really wasn't the Ian Gillan Purple.
Yeah.
And how the hell what's that British band that ripped off Hush? Na 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 na. What is it? The only one. The Charlatans. How the fuck did they get away with that? Yeah, Menikettie's awesome. But
I got to step out for a second, Dave.
go ahead. But Deep Purple really wasn't that popular here unless you were to go out and buy the records. And like I said, the hit songs weren't that good for me. I loved Who Do We Think We Are? I thought Who Do We Think We Are is a great album. I think Burn's a great album. I think, what's the album after Burn?
Oh God, Stormbringer.
Great. Stormbringer is my favorite of all of them, regardless of singer. I liked Crocus. I liked Headhunter. I liked Long Stick Goes Boom. I liked Hardware.
Winning Man, you liked.
That's on Hardware. Yeah, I liked Winning Man. I loved April Wine. I liked To Rock and Could Have Been a Lady. Could Have Been a Lady's an underrated song from April Wine. I love She's a Roller. There's so many great bands and great stuff. But I do think, like, if you said to me Deep Purple or Rainbow, it's not even a contest. I like Rainbow way better. And you could say which version of Deep Purple versus which version of Rainbow, any version of Rainbow. Because I could pick a Rainbow album. I could say Difficult to Cure is amazing. Do I have to say the Graham Bonnet? I heard Lost in Hollywood today, the Graham Bonnet Rainbow. And Lost in Hollywood's the best song on that album, for sure. Yeah, the Dio Rainbow is fucking phenomenal. I mean, those three albums, Rainbow, you know what's funny about those? I've decided about those three Rainbow albums with Dio. Each album has one stinker. Every album has just one stinker. Otherwise, they're great fucking records. Rock and Roll's a vicious game. I'll look it up, Cheech. I love Could Have Been a Lady. Drums on Difficult to Cure is excellent. Outstanding. Gypsy Queen, outstanding. I love this song that they did on that album, All Over Town. Outstanding. Early 80s, I was listening to Yes and Genesis more than rock. I didn't see the Dio documentary yet. Yes and Genesis. I mean, I like that stuff. I really, I like Peter Gabriel. I like the Genesis with, I think even the 1981 album Abacab is fantastic. That's a great record. Yes. I mean, you got me on three records, right? You got the Yes album, Fragile, and Close to the Edge. After that, to me, you could dump all their albums in a shredder. I mean, some are good. It's some good stuff. It's just not great, and some of it's just I don't know. Some of that stuff I'd rather listen to King Crimson. Could Have Been a Lady by April Wine. Fantastic song, Ed. Well, Yes Songs is the greatest hits, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Ed, we don't discuss greatest hits records. Oh, yeah. Triumph, I bet, was big in Michigan. And what was that other band that was probably big? That Canadian band that had the guy that sang Patio Lanterns and Go for Soda. Kim Mitchell. Kim Mitchell. What was the name of his band?
I just remember Kim Mitchell. That's all.
What the hell was Kim Mitchell's band? Ricky Compton, you should know this.
Max Webster.
Max Webster, thank you very much. Yeah, they were big out there too. Yeah, April Wine's great. All Over Town. Yeah, Max Webster. Yeah, they were good. Did they do a song with Rush? Did Max Webster and Rush do a collab? I think they did. up to the Big Money album. I think that album's called The Manhattan Project. No, what's the name of that album? Is it Power Windows? I agree with you, Jonathan. I think with Rush, you go Fly By Night, because I don't like the first album that much. Fly By Night to Power Windows. Led Zeppelin 2 is You're on an Island. So let me just think about Led Zeppelin 2 for a minute. We got Heartbreaker. No, we open up the album with a whole lot of love. What Is and What Should Never Be. The Lemon Song. How Many More Times? Not How Many More Times. That's not on that album, is it?
No.
Side 2 is Thank You. Heartbreaker, Living, Loving. Oh, it's Heartbreaker, Living, Loving, Made. Ramble On is on that record. Oh, Moby Dick, and what's the other? Bring It On Home. Battle Scar is the Max Rush collab. Okay, great. See, I knew there was.
Battle
Yeah,
Scar
Coney
Galactica.
Hatch. Yeah, there's another Canadian one. Wasn't there a Canadian band called Kick-Axe? Heavy Metal
I remember
Shuffle.
Kick-Axe. I didn't know they were.
I think they were Canadian. Maybe Cheech can help fill us in, or somebody who. I thought they were Kick-Axe. Yeah, Zepp is great.
Yep, Canadian.
Yeah,
From Regina,
right.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, from a vagina in Saskatchewan.
They all came from Vagina, Saskatchewan.
All right. Moving Pictures, Witch Hunt, killer tune. That's a great song. The whole record's great. My favorite Rush song is probably on Moving Pictures of all time, and that song is Camera Eye. I think the Camera Eye is my favorite Rush song. And I saw them do like an abridged version of it when I saw them live at the Gibson Amphitheater. They did the album Moving Pictures, and I believe they shortened Camera Eye for that show. I think they cut a part out because I can't remember that, but at the time I remember thinking this is just, they skipped a part.
I
They
saw
reduced the aperture.
I saw them do that too. I saw saw Rush do all of Moving Pictures from beginning.
That's what I
I also saw Judas Priest do British Steel from beginning to end.
We were at those same show.
Might have been.
So it was Priest with Whitesnake at the Gibson Amphitheater.
I don't remember.
Oh no,
where I-
totally you were there. It was me, Bingham. I think you were there.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Priest, yeah, because the Priest was British Steel. They were great, but then the Rush one, I don't know. You might have been there, but I don't know. I might have not known you were there. That was when they did the whole Moving Pictures at the Gibson Amphitheater.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember where I saw that. But
And then I saw them again at the Greek. I think it was. Yeah, I saw them at the Greek. No, I saw them at the Hollywood Bowl when they had the chicken roasters.
Yeah.
They were running a kookaroo from the back of the stage.
Those guys.
Greek bowl chicken. You're making me hungry. Need some tzatziki.
But yeah, so wait, so when you saw them, didn't they shorten Camera Eye?
I don't remember. Man, that's been
Yeah, I
so
think
long
they
ago.
did. Bent. That's my favorite Rush song.
Really?
Camera Eye, definitely. Maybe
There's too many for me to pick
Cygnus.
one.
I think
Cygnus
you're right on
2.
mine. And you'd
Book
be
2 of
surprised.
Cygnus.
Mm-hmm.
I like Free Will. I
I
always
have
like
to go. I buy albums. I mean, every song on Permanent Waves was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And I think and honestly, I'd probably just from being overplayed, the first two would be the two I'd hear too much of, which is
Spirit of Radio. and
Spirit of the Radio, Into Free Will. But I love Jacob's Ladder. I love Entre Nous, Different Strings, and Natural Science is the best tune on that album.
Definitely. And me and the drummer I played with at the time, that was like our favorite song on the album. And we went to see him. That was my first Rush concert, was a Permanent Waves tour. And they played it and we were like going crazy. And everyone else was just kind of like, yeah, okay. Yeah. You know,
Right.
like,
Polite clap.
Ed Dana, the album's called Life Beyond LA. And the album after that was called 180 from 1980. Yeah, I love Camera Eye.
yeah.
They
So that-
seem oblivious to a soft, warm rain, like an English rain.
I'd have to say that if I had to be on the island and you could only pick one band's catalog, I'd probably pick Rush just because of
Really?
diversity. Yeah.
I might take Zeppelin's whole catalog. Let me think for a second. That's a great question. Whose catalog would you take?
Yeah, because Rush has got so many more albums. You know.
Yeah, but they also have so many more that I would like to avoid.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear Presto again.
Yeah,
Hold Your Fire.
That's actually a tour I saw, was the Presto tour. It was unusual though. They
Stones-
played a lot of the old stuff on it though.
Stone's catalog would be interesting. Pink Floyd's catalog. So Pink Floyd's catalog, you're looking at 6 albums. Stone's albums, you're looking at. There's a lot of good songs on some albums that you don't really want to listen to the whole album.
Mhm.
I mean, Floyd, you got the first. What was the first 5 albums? You can throw away. Piper
5?
at the Gates of Dawn's Piper at
Is
the
that-
Gates of Dawn. You got like Adam Hart, Mother. That's way later. Hold on, that's like 3 years later. What's the second album called?
Oh, Umaguma.
That's the
And then-
3rd or 4th.
I'll look it up.
I think the 5th album is, or the 6th album might be Metal.
Yeah,
That might be the
Metal's
first
good.
album you give a shit about.
That's all in circles, not circles.
What?
No, what Echoes?
Echoes is on that album. Yeah, Metal
Yeah.
I think is 71.
Why did I say circles?
Ooh, All Sabbath. That'd be
I thought of
interesting
that.
because you get the Aussie ones, you get the. And if you wanted to, you could play the song "Trash" 10 times in a row. I was doing about 100 with
Zabriskie Point was another one. Let's see.
What's-
Piper at Gates of Dawn was 67. Saucerful Secrets 68.
Salsa.
More, July
More?
1969. Umaguma
Yeah.
69. Zabriskie Point 70.
Yeah.
Adam Hart Mother 70. Then Relics.
Relics is a compilation,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's a
count.
compilation. Then Metal in 71. Then
Metal
Obscured by
71,
Clouds.
Obscured by Clouds, which is a soundtrack, 72, 73, Dark Side, 75, Wish You Were Here, 77, Animals, 79, The Wall, 83, The Final Cut, 87,
Momentary Lapse.
Momentary Lapse of Reason, right. I mean, but like I said, so from 71 on, that's good. But the early Pink Floyd, I mean, they make, if you get them in the CDs, if you have a CD player on your island, those first 5 Pink Floyd albums make excellent coasters.
Yeah.
You don't like any of the Sid Barrett stuff?
Well, there's only one
I think
album.
he's overrated, but it's like
He's on one album. He's on
Yeah,
Piper
yeah.
at the Gates of Dawn.
yeah, it's like
Yeah, See Emily Play, Bike,
Yeah,
no.
that's-
Astronomy Domine or whatever it is called, no.
Domine or whatever. Astronomy Domine is kind of unique, kind of with the chords at the beginning. I think it's pretty cool, but I think he's very overrated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of songs that are unique that I never want to listen to. Actually, Zappa. People keep mentioning Zappa, Overnight
Yes,
Sensation. I like Apostrophe better than Overnight Sensation,
Yeah.
but I will say this: his whole catalog would be an interesting thing on the island.
Yep.
Because some days you'd like the record, some days you'd be like, "This album sucks." That's
some
what I do
days,
to
yeah,
his
it's like-
albums.
I did
I'll tell
not
you
like
what album
Jazz
I
from
love
Hell.
is the one that has Cheapness. I always forget the name. Blue Oyster Cult, Secret Treaties.
Cheapness.
Are
That was
you guys
early
Blue Oyster
80s,
Cult
right?
fans at all?
I am.
Yes.
Oh, you are?
Selective. selective songs. It's like
What's the
I
song?
love Burning for You.
Dominance. Dominant submission. Radio Supreme. Radio's up
You
here.
know,
Whatever the hell he says.
it was a good BOC album that I didn't even know about until I worked at this record store, and this guy turned me on to it. And we used to listen to it all the time. It was called Club Ninja.
Oh, I've heard.
Oh, yeah?
album, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's actually a really good album.
I love
Dana
Buck
knows
Dharma.
dominance and submission. I love dominant submission. Radio's
I
up
tell you,
here.
Buck Dharma had such interesting solos.
He was great.
Like it's
He was great. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford has risen from the grave.
Now, to me,
I always liked Cities in Flames is a great tune.
To me, the band Ghost took a little bit of BOC.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
I could hear that. You know what's so funny is like you talk to young people today, or even like just a couple of years younger than us, and you mention Blue Oyster Cult, and they'll look at you and go, "What?" They have no idea.
yeah.
I knew a song I loved. I loved "Take Me Away."
Oh, yeah.
That's a great song.
Oh, you know what's a great song from the heavy metal soundtrack is
Veterans of a Thousand Sacred War.
It's just called Veteran of the
Please
Sacred
don't
Wars.
take my life. Right? I am the living
Don't
doom
let
of a
these-
thousand psychic wars.
I used to say,
fuck.
"Don't let this shit go on." Please don't let this shit go on.
I love that song.
It is.
That could be their best song.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right? Yeah.
I would agree.
Love it.
I give anything left of me.
Oh, don't let these shakes go on. We're gonna.
We had a break from it.
Oh, it's fucking great. First of all, Reach Out and Take It from Cheap Trick on that album.
That is a great
fantastic.
song. That's like
Fucking
one.
great. I love it.
know. I always wish they'd have played. They probably played it live at some point. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's a great
Reach
song.
Out and Take It. Yeah, it's great.
Take it.
Great. BOC Astronomy.
You know, I gotta get more of their songs on my playlist. I don't think I have any Boys to Cult on my playlist.
I love it.
Me
And
too.
which another song I love that reminds me of it is the beginning is Pat Travers' "I La 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 Love You."
Oh yeah,
from his-
that was on
from
a
the Black-
That was on a movie,
Yeah, it's in Valley Girl.
Valley Girl. Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
damn
got, I
right
got a
it is.
Valley Girl story for you.
If it does it have something to do with Deborah? No, who's in that movie?
Foreman, Deborah Foreman.
Deborah Foreman.
It was
Yeah.
Deborah Foreman.
Yeah,
There's also
she,
in Real G.
when I worked at Gold's Gym, she came in a few times, and I was like, I recognized her. I was like, I started talking to her, and I was like, why weren't you on the movie poster? They had Nick Cage on there, but they had
some girl that didn't look
some other
anything.
girl on there, and she was like, she explained it to me what happened, but she kind of like developed a thing for me, and she invited me to have Thanksgiving with her and her aunt one time, and I kind of politely.
Then she came up to you
I
and said,
guess.
"It's your fucking friends, Matt."
Julie is truly dazzling.
Yeah, but no, that was.
Did you
it was
ask her if
fun.
the fucking dinner was in 3D?
Nobody.
Nobody. Movie's the best.
Yeah, it is.
And what's her name worked out at the gym too at Gold's? E.G.
Oh,
Daly,
Oh
A
yeah,
little girl.
who was also in the movie.
yeah.
So I was doing cardio one day, and remember Joyce Heiser in Just One of the Guys?
Oh, that's the one that was the mother of in Valley Girl, the mother of the.
No, you ever see Just One of the Guys?
That name. Oh, I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
The girl who pretends she's a boy,
No.
Sounds like it came out last
and
year.
she goes to
No,
high
I
school.
remember. I remember it. Yeah, I never watched it, but I remember it.
Yeah, so Joyce is doing cardio next to me at the gym one day, and I looked over next to her, and she keeps looking over at me because I keep looking at her, and I'm like, I was in love with you in high school. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much for recognizing me. She was like so happy. And I was like, so I said to her, it's a shame about that kid, Rick. He hates me. You guys remember that scene with Kenneth Tagar? And then he's like, I know. I read your article. Oh, it's so fucking cringy. It's great. I read your article. Oh, could you read my article in another room, please? You're fucking creeping me out. I read your article.
It's funny how many like people that you remember from films like that who never went on to have big careers, but they had pivotal like roles in movies where people around them went on to have big careers.
Yeah.
Right, like Taylor. Remember Taylor Negron?
Yeah,
He used to work out at the gym.
pizza guy.
yeah.
From
He was the pizza guy in Fast Times, but he was also Julio in Easy Money.
Easy Money.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's also a bad guy in Last Boy. My
And
Life.
I had no
Last Boy
idea
Scout.
that he was gay until I talked to him in the gym once.
Ah,
Pizza
But
guy.
he was just like, "Are you keep using that machine?" I'm like, "I'll be done in a minute." I go, "Dude, I
Okay,
fucking love
Julio.
you. I love your stuff." He's like, "You do." I'm like, "Well, not that much, but
not that stuff.
yeah, it was." But anyways, yeah, he worked out there, and Tim Kimber came on the show once.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because he was talking about like the body double for the Incredible Hulk used to work out at Gold's back, and he was talking about like the glory days, the 70s, the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But there was there's a lot of funny things that went on in that place while I was there, probably when you were there.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
That place was like, there never will be a place like that again.
No.
No.
Hilarious though.
Oh man.
Just
the
some of the
cast
stuff.
of
I had
characters.
Dorian Yates. I thought Dorian Yates one time was going to kill me because
Oh,
I
yeah?
told him he looked like Roger Daltrey.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, mate, when I had long hair." I said, "No, buddy, it's not your hair, it's your face." And he's just like, not happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dorian's going to kill me.
Yeah, well, I saw
Guess
him
I'll
in
punch
pieces.
him in the arm.
Is
where
your
he
hair
had
Roger
that
Daltrey?
injury.
No, but your face is.
Right. Exactly.
But he does.
Oh,
look
yeah.
like him.
He looks just like him.
He does. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just told you look like a famous rock star. What a fucking insult, you know?
Right. Yeah, but he got all mad because he was like, "Yeah, but it was the hair." I said, "No, it's the face." He was, I guess, not currently pleased. Maybe he wasn't a big fan of Roger Daltrey's looks.
I guess not.
He was angry. He came up to me after and said, "I really wish you would have said I look like Roger Moore." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
could have said you look like
you
a
should have said
bucket
at
of
least
shit.
I didn't say you look like Pete Townsend.
Right. Jesus.
You look like a bucket of shit.
Right. The history of the
What movie's
world.
that from? Yes. You look like the
Oh,
piss
piss
boy.
boy.
Your Highness,
Gold.
you look like the piss boy. And you look like a bucket of shit.
I wonder how many takes they had to take of Henny Youngman selling him. I just sold my last pack, right? It's like, because he was out of it by that point
Yeah.
when they filmed that movie.
Fucking
Oh.
Mel Brooks is still alive, too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not- he's
And
all
isn't
like
is
90s.
Carl Reiner still alive?
No, he just
No,
passed
Carl
away
Reiner.
2 years
Yeah.
ago.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, that means that Mel Brooks now is watching Jeopardy alone. Didn't they used to watch Jeopardy together?
Mm. I don't know.
Well, there's only
Yeah.
one 2,000-year-old man left.
You know, the Who is a funny band because I think the Who gets this like god status of like the Stones and Zeppelin, and I'm not sure they are deserved.
I was never really into him that much.
Yeah,
In
me
fact, I didn't see anyone say the Who's catalog is going on that island,
no.
and we all know why. Because what the hell you're gonna get 2 albums, 3 albums? You're gonna get Quadrophenia, Who's Next, and Who Are You?
Mhm.
And personally, I enjoy Face Dances. I think Face Dances was a great album. But Who by Numbers, Tommy, Odds and Sods, pass.
I thought
Oh,
Face
Barry
Dances
Band.
was a-
Oh yeah, Atlanta Rhythm Section was great. Great band. I was so into them. I couldn't get another. I don't know how to rhyme it. I was so into them. Ba-do-doom, ba-doom. Can't get another love. Bum, ba-do-do-do. Yeah, you know what that's like? I would say The Who is online with Jethro Tull.
I thought that Face Dances was just a Pete Townsend album.
No, that's
I like Jethro Tull
Empty
better than
Glass
The Who.
was
I
Pete
like
Townsend.
Jethro
Face
Tull
Dances
way
had You
better.
Better You Bet, Another
Yeah.
Tricky Day.
It's hard suck.
I guess it's because Pete sang most of those songs.
No, it was all Roger.
No, Face Dances, I remember it was.
No, he had a song called Face Dances on his
That's
solo
it.
record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Townsend had a song called Face Dances. I believe on the All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes, whatever the fuck that means.
I don't know. Well, You Better You Bet was Townsend, right?
No, that was
Daltrey singing. I call you on the telephone. My voice is.
I think the middle part. I think Townsend has.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait, there's a middle section that Townsend sings? They never do
Yeah,
that.
just like they always do.
Every fucking song. Like, when did they come up with that? Like with Bargain? Right?
Well,
like,
that's it. That was a bargain. It's like, hey, I get this much section of a song to sing it.
no, but you know the song Bargain? Doesn't he do it?
Yep.
It's like 1 and 1, don't make 2. 1 and 1, make 1. Okay, thank you, Professor. Have a seat. Then they do Bubba O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Don't cry. Oh, we're gonna have the emotional section sung by this guy. Yeah, can we just have the guy who sings the song sing the song? You got to keep fucking interjecting. And then there's a great, one of my favorite Who songs, Sea and Sand, where you get Daltrey, nothing about the sea and sand. And then Daltrey comes in, I drive a GL scooter with my hair cut clean. It's like, oh, wait, how rare is this? They're bringing in fucking Pete again to sing. And he did it in every song since. I think in the Who Are You song, when they go, they mellow out and they go, that's when Pete Townsend was like, wanted to come up and sing another line. They're like, no, let's just keep this instrumental. Stay the fuck out. Yeah, Behind Blue Eyes, I'm not a fan of. I would say that's a song that when it comes on the radio is either getting turned to another channel. Terrible. Yeah, and I do like Who's Next. I think Going Mobile's a decent song. I think what's the big song on what's the one they did? Pure and Easy was a spinoff of. Pure and Easy was Townsend's solo. Oh, The Song Is Over. The song is over. It's all behind me. A lot of that shit, though, sounds like gay show tunes. You know what I mean? Like
Pete Townsend's a fag, you know that, right?
But seriously, it sounds like gay show tunes, and it's all like, I mean, and he's got balls ripping on like not liking Jimmy Page, like all those bands, the Stones, the Who, they all badmouth Zeppelin, and it's like, yeah, they're outselling you 2-1, and the Who, they're outselling you 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
How that you're like, oh, they all had a thing about like, oh, Bonham's too loud as a drummer. He's too this, he's too that. He's fucking awesome. Shut the balls up.
But we all know Keith Moon is your favorite drummer.
Oh, horrible. Keith, we'd like you to play the next song with no cymbals. No cymbals. Yeah, exactly.
We need Keith Moon drum solo. Take the drum set.
Keith's too drunk to play the drums. That's okay. Just put the drums on the top of the stairs and somebody kick them down. It'll sound just like his solo. Ooh, Martin comes up. Martin, I thought you were in England. The British camp. You can't. They have a Union Jack on their fucking logo. Best Thin Lizzy has bad reputation. I'm sorry, Hugh. But as Yul Brynner says, so it has been said, so it shall be written, so it shall be done. Anyways, guys, I do want you to check out, if you guys get a chance, check out Dr. Disrespect playing.
I'll do it after this show. I'll go to sleep to it.
He plays those gun games. He's really good. 2-time champion, 6'8".
Blockbuster.
It's funny as hell. It's very funny. All right, so Matt, they're going to put you on the electric chair this time. You've
Okay.
committed such a crime on humanity. You have to listen to one album before they pull the electric chair down. And unfortunately for you, it's a multiple choice. Quiet Riot's first album.
Oh my
Quiet
God.
Riot 2.
Mental health.
No, I can't say mental health. Well, I'll say mental health. And I would imagine you'd want to listen to the worst one, so death comes, so it'll satisfy your soul, because it's going to feel like an eternity.
Okay, so I'm not exactly clear on what the question is here.
What's the album you would listen to before getting the zap?
Because I want to hear something I think is
Well,
shitty.
it's up to you. Well, see, to me, if someone said to me, "Listen, we're going to play
I
an
know where
album
you're
for
going with
you,"
this.
no, I'm not going to say any specific album. If I have to listen to one album, I'm going to listen to the absolute worst album that's going to make my time feel like 100 years. Obviously, I don't want to listen to a record where I'm like,
my answer was going to be, I'm going to listen to all fucking three. That way I'm going to be run to the fucking electric chair.
right. In other words, if you listen to like the
man.
Quiet Riot 2,
Mm-hmm.
by the time that record's over, you're going to be like, hit the fucking switch, dude.
I think one was worse than two.
Oh, okay. There we go. That was the question. Yeah, one. See?
Yeah, definitely.
And what's the worst record you think of all time? Like for you that you just cannot listen to and it'll make you sick.
Well, I don't know because I probably only heard it once.
Yeah. Well, we could say one of the most overrated.
What were you saying I was going to say, Krellbach? Because I forget what I think is bad.
Well, I knew you were going in the direction of like with the Quiet Riot that you were going to go for the worst because it's like
you got to go for the worst because that'll make the time last the longest.
And my answer was actually going to be all three.
I mean, you have to pick one.
To death. Yeah. Okay, what do I think? I've never heard the first album. Is that the one with Slick Black Cadillac?
No, that's the second one.
Okay, I'll go with the first one because I don't even know what's on it.
I'm trying to think what album nauseates me to all hell.
Pretty much I could say anything by Beyonce or
anything new.
Born in the USA is an awful album.
You know what? Born in the USA is gold compared to the stuff that is out there today.
Oh yeah.
I could pretty much tell you though, if I was in the electric chair and they put on Born in the USA, they would get past they wouldn't get the first measure through, and I would say pull the fucking switch.
Pull it.
Then they change a sentence to listen to the album for the rest of your life in jail. So it's more harsher punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, he had so many hits off that. And I remember my father's first comment when he was the big thing in '84. I was out in Arizona with my father. He's watching on MTV and he goes, "That guy sings like he has a broomstick up his ass."
Yep. Sideways.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. What's a better album? Foreigner 1. Are you familiar, guys? The first Foreigner album?
That's all what feels like the first time. And
Feels like the first time.
And,
Long Way from
the
Home.
one that Mick Jones sings.
Cold as Ice.
Star.
He sings Star Rider.
Star Rider.
Yeah, I remember all those songs.
Head Knocker was on that album.
Yeah,
Lou Gramm sang. I Need You was Lou Gramm.
Okay, what's the other
choice? Yeah.
Or Double Vision.
Ooh.
I think we were going to say 4.
4's no, that's obvious. 4's terrible.
Mm-hmm. It was a big album for them, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the biggest for them, but I think the first 3 are better. And I think the first 2 are legendary. But the question is, which one edges one out? I would go with Double Vision as being the better album. I think it's
I gotta look
easier
at full
listen
track
to.
listing on
I think Lonely Children is one of the best tracks. Spellbinder's fantastic. I think the songs there's like 2 songs, if I'm not mistaken, sung by Mick Jones. I Have Waited Oh So Long is a great song.
Now what's Tramontane?
That's an instrumental. Bang, bang. Love it. Blue Morning, Blue Day was the
totally
hit.
Familiar with all. Oh, Blue Morning, Blue Day's on that too.
Yeah, Double Vision, Hot Blooded. Lonely Children's the hot track.
You know, I would say they'd be close. I'm a little more familiar with the first album.
Yeah. Oh, first album also has "Fool for You Anyway," which was a great song. I think the best song on the first album is "I Need You." So really, we'd be battling "I Need You" to "Lonely Children."
I don't know. You know what? I've actually
You have to go back and listen to them,
like
gentlemen. That'll be something to do. Listen to those two records.
Yeah.
What about in the chat? Anybody familiar with these two albums, or do you guys just like to have conversations amongst yourselves?
I liked how we'd gone on to other things and people are still popping in with like their.
That's what I'm looking at. Martin just said "Once Bitten, Twice Shy." Ooh, there's a band. What's that? Great White. Oh my God, that I'd be like, okay, guys, you could listen. What I'd say, whatever album has "Face the Day," play "Face the Day," and then zap me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the album's called "Twice Shy." The album before that was.
That is one band I could never stand.
You know, I have to admit the Once Bitten thing. I like some of the stuff.
Oh, he's saying the Ian Hunter version, the Martha Hoople version of "Once Bitten, Twice Shy," which is equally as bad.
Yeah.
I do like the Angels version of "Face the Day" way better than the Great White version of "Face the Day."
Jack Russell. It's funny. He's got the name of a dog. He has a face like a basset hound. He has the friggin' jowls on his face.
Head Games is a fantastic record by Foreigner. There's a couple of songs on it, though, that take it out of the running for me. Women, Love on the Telephone. They're okay. They're not superstars. But Rev on the Red Line's great, and Blinded by Science is great.
You mentioned Angel. They actually had a couple of good songs.
Oh, you mean the Punky Meadows band Angel?
Yeah.
Not the Angels.
No,
yeah, Aussie band, the Angels. Yeah, Martin, that's who I like. I love the Angels. Doc Nesson and the boys. Neeson? Neeson? What is it? Doc Neeson? Dr. Disrespect? Like I said, I think Head Games is a great record. I just think the first record, whatever the hell the name, the first Foreigner album and Double Vision were just better albums, though. And yeah, he's dead. Doc is dead. And I do believe that the third album had a different bassist. They got a different bassist for the third album.
Well, the first one was just called Foreigner, wasn't it?
Right, Foreigner. Yeah. And it had Cold as Ice, Feels Like the First Time, Long Way from Home, Fool for You Anyway. Let me think what else was the big hit on that record. Head Knocker. Top 5 Aussie bands for me. You know I love Cold Chisel. No, I'm going to say I love AC/DC. Yeah. I mean, AC/DC's got to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Average White Band. No. Little River Band's Australian, isn't it?
Little River Band for sure. Average White Band, no. Are they Australian?
Are they?
I don't think so. And the drummer, Steve Ferrone, wasn't Australian. He might be African.
No, they're Scottish.
I'd say the Angels. I love the Angels. I love Midnight Oil was good. I like Midnight Oil. Well, Lou Gramm had a stroke. And so his voice is not as good as it once was.
Oh, that singer for Midnight Oil just irritated the fuck out
with them. Yeah, it's like Kate Hepburn.
But you know what's funny is like that song I hated, but I loved on that album Dream World and the Dead Heart. Do 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 do. But it was all like mining companies, all the anti-corporation nonsense. It's like whatever.
Shit.
So Australian, huh?
I went to the right-wing training camp today, by the way. Oh, that's called the gym. I saw that in a meme today. I was dying. Yeah,
you're talking right-wing politically, right?
Right. They were saying now that
Democrats don't work
being
out.
fit or being in shape or caring about your body is a right-wing thing.
Well, good. Fuck you guys.
Right. Exactly.
You know what they showed? I saw a picture of. It said like, what was it? Calvin Klein or one of the clothing places. I mean, they had a picture of like Marky Mark and this hot chick, and this was back in whatever year. And then they showed it today, and it was some fat broad in her underwear with some little stupid looking guy, and it's like, yeah, what's the world coming to, man? Everybody's like, oh, it's good to be ugly and fat now. Don't make
Right.
fun
Oh,
of me.
yeah.
They embrace it. It's like, no, you don't fucking.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that fucking shit.
Is if you think you're
Yeah.
ugly.
Well, you know what's funny?
just
Because
try to
sometimes
dress
when I do
and
my,
present yourself as attractive as possible.
or you could listen to goth music and fake like you're not trying to not be unattractive, but it just so happens because it's the music that you like.
Well, that's
Now,
why
that's just being ironic.
that's
Yeah.
why punk was
Another god
invented.
thing.
Punk was
Yeah.
invented so ugly kids could be
There's a-
popular too.
There's a
Exactly.
line-
Punk, emo, and all that stuff. But the
there's I don't want to cut you off, but there's a line from Simpsons when they do a Hullabalooza anymore, and it's this couple there sitting there. They're like a bunch of just stoner friggin'. It's like, oh, are you being ironic? And he's like, I don't know anymore.
But you know what's
That's
like? People in my chat, when I sometimes do my cigar smoke and I talk about the diet, and some people will come in there and they'll start saying how the diet's this or stupid or whatever, and I block them. But it's so funny because like on internet, it's easy to be a troll without having to be accountable because you can't see
Yeah.
what they look like, and we assume they're fat, not in shape, anyways. But it's like I was talking to somebody, and this girl was telling me that my diet was like, oh, that's crazy. That I'm like, you're fat. You shouldn't be telling anybody whatever the diet you're doing. Tell people to do the opposite. Oh, wait a second, that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
But it's
It's like having a
shut
doctor
the
with a cigarette in their mouth, coughing, go, you gotta
Yeah,
lose
it's like,
weight.
give me a fucking break. People are out of their minds. They don't want to learn anything new, and they're like, nope, this is what I've been told my whole life, and therefore it's true. Okay, good. Well, don't cross your eyes. They'll freeze like that. And don't watch the TV too close to the TV,
Yeah. Well,
and don't masturbate because you'll go blind. No, I'm over here.
they'll take it in the pocketbook though, because I can't see buying a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue with a fucking tranny on.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I'm sick of this whole fucking lefty fucking
Oh.
crock
Have
of
you seen
shit.
the girl that's like the tranny guy? He's big and fat, and he's in that. They use it all the time in like the reels where they use and he's like, I could have any guy I want. Meanwhile, it's a guy
By
who's
force.
dressed as a girl but fat as hell, and they're all like, yeah, fuck off. There's no way you could have any guy you want. You can't even have a guy.
Uh-huh. Oh, I wish Joe was here because you know what? And before I go into that, it's cracking me up because the people in the chat are on their own conversation. They're not even saying anything relevant to what we're talking about.
Well,
Right? Are they?
Best debut album, Van
Halen.
Halen. But I watched that movie that Joe suggested, which was Grave Encounters. Have you
Oh,
seen
what'd you
that?
think of it?
It was pretty good.
I haven't watched it yet.
I liked it better than the House.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It actually had several moments that I got like goosebumps. The hair
nice.
stood up on. Yeah, but it was on Prime, but it was with commercial interruptions here and there. And one of them they kept showing. Man, I had to put the fucking. I was watching it in bed on my phone, and I was just like putting it down because it was an ad for one of these fucking AIDS drugs or whatever. And the whole thing was fucking dudes kissing and fucking checking each other out. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why do you got to put this shit in commercials where people like,
The kids or anything.
I want to make a point of this. Now, isn't it amazing how like now this might be a little controversial, but when it first came out,
for the love of Christ.
No, it
Just tell your story. You don't have to back it up. No, good.
Yeah. No, it spread through a gay community because it spread through anal sex, right? But then they said, oh, well, you're saying anyone can get it and stuff. Yeah, but they're the main proponents of anal sex. Now here we are in modern day. Now they have an AIDS drug. They automatically equate it with gay people. So aren't they being discriminatory by doing that, by their own rules?
Yeah. Good point. HIV.
You guys talking about gays? So, thank you. There's a gamer, and his name is Hollow, and he plays all the fucking super creepy haunted video games that are supposed to scare the shit out of you.
Uh-huh.
And he's pretty funny because he gets scared at every little thing. But you should watch the games. Whoever's designing, like a lot of Japanese games where they're designing in
Zombies
Japan,
jump out of the woodwork.
not just zombies, just creepy shit. Like there's one thing, you're like the new security guard in a building, and so you got to walk and close and lock the doors and check all the stuff. And at one point, you walk into a room and there's like a fucking man, like a ventriloquist dummy sitting on a ladder, and it's just shocking and scares you. And so this guy leaves the room and comes back, and it's gone. But it's like, it's supposed to be a game to creep you out, but it's pretty funny to watch this guy doing. He does all he plays the game so you can see the game. It's pretty funny.
So yeah, Dave.
Anadrol. Yeah, I'm familiar with Anadrol. I believe Homogenin was the Brazilian name of it, right? Homogenin. That's funny, Hannah Baum. I agree with that.
So I have to see what Joe says next week if he's back, because I watched the first one and I was like, well, that was good enough. I'll watch the second one. And the second one was so I'm going to ruin it for everybody. So go ahead and
spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
The second one is about a kid who does a review of the movie, the first one. And talking about it like, okay, yeah, it's a movie that he's saying how it sucked and everything, and then he comes to find out, he starts investigating that everything that happened was real. It was real. These people died in this place investigating it, and he goes there to do his own movie about it. And I'm like, you just found out you believe this shit's real, and you're gonna go in there.
It's the Titan. It's the fucking Titan.
Jesus.
Right? The same thing with the Titan, right? The guy goes, we want to go see the Titanic. Well, your thing isn't safe. Your safety's overrated. You're looking to go to a shipwreck from a guy who didn't care about safety. But you're saying you don't care about safety.
Well, it's just so. What were you asking, Krell?
Oh, what was the name of the movie?
Oh, Grave Encounters.
Grave Encounters.
Yeah, and it's basically these guys who have like a show about a ghost hunting show, and they go to this old abandoned psychiatric hospital, and they go in and lock themselves in. All this crazy shit happens, and everybody you think is dead or whatever. And then in the second movie, this kid's seen the movie and he's reviewing it, saying it's a piece of shit. And then he starts getting these weird emails, and he starts looking into it, and he can't find anything on the people who acted in the movie. And it's they've all just disappeared and shit. And then he's like, oh, well, we got to go up there. We got to go check this place out. And it's like, really? You think all that stuff happened and you would actually go in this place? This does not, it's a big plot hole. It's this does not make any sense. So check it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hell House, I thought was interesting in the respect of that it was, how the way they shot it. I didn't love the film, but I just thought it was an interesting take on horror.
It was entertaining, and I'm not.
I judge a movie on its entertainment value, number one.
Right.
Because movies can be stupid and still be enjoyable as all hell.
Some of my favorite movies are total pieces of shit, but they just have something about them that are it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Plan 9 from outer space.
What is it?
But
Plan 9 from outer space.
That was terrible.
That's so awful. It's good.
But Ed Wood was a great movie. I love it.
Ed Wood's good.
Oh, yeah.
I also like the Mystery Science Theater take on Earth versus the Spider.
Uh-huh. But if you liked Hell House, you will probably like the Grave Encounters movie, because, like I said, Hell House didn't give me any goosebumps, but this thing, there was a couple of scenes where I kind of was like,
Right. Yeah. Well, you got to check this guy out named Hollow. I want you to see some of these video games. One's called Night Patrol or something. Not Night Patrol. That was a movie.
Night Patrol.
What the hell's it called? It's called another one is really cool. It's called uninvited guest and like these you're in your house, but aliens are coming down and you're running around and the neighbors are bolting up their doors so you can't get into their house. And it's just this fucking twisted. There's some twisted video games out there.
Did you ever see the first Paranormal Activity movie?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I've seen a bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
The
The first one really, because if you watch that in the right setting, it's got some creepy shit in it.
Right. And it's also the first of the genre. So once you kind of got used to it when they
Actually, Blair Witch was the first of the genre.
It was the found footage thing, but this one was more of the paranormal thing or the ghost thing. Blair Witch was more.
Well,
just-
Blair Witch was
was
supposedly paranormal too.
well, it was, but it
they
was
were like
more
yeah.
looking for this place, and
Yeah, a
some weird
lot of
shit happened.
paranormal things happen now. They head in one direction and ended up in the same place.
Yeah, but it's not the same because the other one was more like they had this surveillance camera. It wasn't shot from them like trying to find. So I don't think it's in the same respect, but I do understand what you're saying as far as like it's through the camera of a cheap camera.
Yeah, but in paranormal, they were actually setting things up because they were having disturbances,
Right.
and
Right.
then you've got like the hoof prints in the powder and all this other kind of crazy shit. But it had some.
So you imagine you have it.
Actually-
You're going to make a film about a horror, and all of a sudden they're like, "Listen, we can't get you the really nice camera you need. I have an idea."
Yeah, dude, I wish I would have had that idea.
Actually, there was one before Blair Witch. It was called The Great Broadcast or something. It was about the Jersey Devil. They did
Right.
that, and but they
Which
ruined
Blair
it
Witch
because
was-
they broke the wall at the end. They broke the found footage wall at the end. Though it was found footage, and then they broke the wall. And I'm not gonna say what.
Yeah, either that ruined it, or the fact that nobody saw it except for you ruined it.
Yeah. I remember when Blair Witch came out, in LA, and it was like it did such big business, man.
Oh yeah, I went to those movies and saw it.
Yeah, I didn't. I just was not.
My friend Mo thought it was real. My friend Leo Dave, his brother.
Yeah.
Mo, he's like a few years older than us. He thought because they had that fake documentary about these kids that disappear. Yeah, they made a movie. That's not real, Mo. And it's like really, it seems.
Yeah. Sometimes they forget to, and this happens in the Grave Encounters movie where everything seems like it's on the handheld thing, but then all of a sudden something happens where you go, well, that couldn't have been a handheld thing. That could.
Yeah, I know that takes you out of it.
Yeah, but a lot of people wouldn't notice.
Well, you remember that Ghost Hunters show that was on Sci-Fi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was based in Rhode Island. I actually worked with Grant from there, place down here. But that show was such bullshit.
Why is
What
that?
show?
Oh,
Ghost
Hunters. You could tell they were staging stuff. It's
Ah.
like when the chair moved, they catch the chair moving. It's like, okay, who's got the fishing line attached to it?
Okay. Well, I'd heard things like the guy that, because it was Grant and what's the bald guy's
Oh, Jason.
yeah. That the Grant guy left the show because he was actually kind of getting some, shit brought home with him or something. It was like, he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, he's a Mormon, by the way. He was being cultivated to take over as president of the company. That is
Who's his favorite
grandfather-in-law.
television producer? Mormon Lear?
Yeah. So he left that to chase ghosts. So I guess he left the Mormon religion. But
Okay. Didn't know that, but yeah, I used to.
Yeah,
like
I don't even know what.
well,
what is the show
that's a
called?
group that believes in magic underwear. So it's like, so I'm not going to take their word on what they see for ghosts.
I don't like Jelly Roll. I don't think anything about him.
Jellyfish.
You guys like Jelly Roll? I love
Don't even know.
jellyfish.
Don't even know who that is.
Yeah. I don't think there's any new music that I think is worth a shit.
Yeah. Once in a blue
Got it.
moon, a song may come out that I like. It's been a while.
The new Winery Dogs album is really good.
I haven't heard anything off of it yet.
I went and saw him on tour for that just a couple of months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Great show.
Still the same lineup, I hope, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, it's just a trio. Yeah, absolutely. Great show.
great you. I saw them in 2013 for the first album. And
I wanted to, but it was always like, I was still in LA and every place they played it sold out pretty quick. And
this place was like 1/4 full, and it's the Met Cafe in Pawtucket. Well,
Cheech is
I think it
asking-
filled up a little more to half full.
Cheech is asking a question. Do I think Sykes will ever come back?
John Sykes.
Come back to
think-
what?
music. I actually heard that he quit. Yeah, he's done.
He quit a while ago.
Yeah, well, he's like 70
What do you
years
mean
old
to
or
music
something.
itself, or did you have a band in mind? It's like anything else. How the hell would I know? If he found a singer that actually
he's
he
63
sings
years
really
old.
good.
He's not that old.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
think
need
he-
a singer. He's a good singer.
He's a great singer. I think, and I like Blue Murder, but I don't think he made any money with Blue Murder. It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And what's he gonna do? I mean, if he did it, it would be for himself. But it's really where he's at. I mean, I don't know. He was a guy, I think, too, that was kind of jaded from the business a little bit. Like he was just sick of it. And hell of a player.
I think he was sick of getting fucked over by the business.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He was done. And it's not
overdone.
but it's not like Blue Murder didn't really have a lot of success. Again, the rockers that followed him dug him, but they didn't really sell a lot of records.
No. Which is, kind of ironic since he wrote so much stuff on, Slide It In, and then
No, he didn't write. He wrote on the other one. Slide It In was already finished when Sykes came in. He just played on, I think, 3 or 4 solos. But on the Whitesnake 87 album, that was his writing.
Right. But yeah, it was still a much bigger seller than Slide It In.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it was the setup. It was, he wrote, the 2 of the songs on Slide It In were from Saints and Sinners. They were, Here I Go Again. They re-recorded for 87, and they re-recorded Crying in the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then Sykes wrote what is the name of that song?
Still of the Night.
Still night.
He wrote Still of the Night. That was yeah. Any Sparks fans? I like Sparks. Angst in Your Pants. I know Matt likes Don't Let It Get Me. Don't
That's in
Let
Valley
It
Girl.
Get Me. It's in Valley Girl when he's riding the bicycle to Beth's house.
You know that movie better than I do.
Plastics. Movie's great.
It is one of those classic.
Who had the better tone? Peak Eddie or Peak DeMartini? Not even a question.
Yeah,
It's all
come on.
Eddie.
No one ever said I want Warren DeMartini's sound.
No, not even Warren.
Those words were never uttered.
Yeah. I did
Everybody-
enjoy his tone on the Out of the Cellar album, but it wasn't like I was like, it's nothing I would ever chase.
No.
Monster in My Pants.
I remember
know
Party in My
Cheap
Pants.
Trick did Woke Up with a Monster.
Party in My Pants by Barnes.
Yeah,
and Barnes.
Chris Stapleton's cool. It's so much. I mean, I think he's a great talent. I don't love the songs. I like some of his songs, but I wish he had better songs. But as a singer, I like him.
Any
when he did the national
music,
anthem, he did-
artist that I lick.
Oh, it's actually called Monster. It's the B-52s, Monster in My Pants. It's called
Okay.
Monster.
Who wrote it?
Fred Schneider.
Probably Fred Schneider.
If you see a faded sign by the fly of my jeans, it means
I still
15
think
miles to the monster in my pants.
I still think take Metallica songs and do them with the Fred Schneider voice, and it would be a very funny thing.
I don't think
Exit
Ozzy's in
light.
health. I don't think Ozzy's in any health to continue, is he?
No, he just backed out of something because
Yeah.
for I think I don't think
Ozzy's
he'll
starting to
ever do it.
sing like Katharine Hepburn. Crazy. And that's hot. He's got the
that's the guy from
shakes.
Midnight Oil.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved both Ed and Warren Saldana years. I don't know that I did like Ed Saldana years. I like Ed on Women and Children and Fair Warning. That was his Marshall, right?
I don't even remember him ever using Saldanas.
I think he used Soldanos with Van Hagar for a short time before I seem to
I
remember.
thought he started with Peavy with the 5150.
No, I think he
in the
went to
first-
PV afterwards. Hang on for a second.
I think it was the 84. Might have been the Saldano stuff. We're gonna look it up, folks.
Oh, he
Okay,
is not
Eddie
as-
Van Halen used SLO 100 most notably on the vast majority for unlawful carnal knowledge.
I was going to say,
Oh, okay.
1984
The third
was-
album. That's the third Hagar record, 1990. Yes, Lemon Water Cheech, absolutely. What's the last great rock album? Well,
That's a good question.
Well, Matt's saying the Winery Dog stuff is good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
really good.
I
Um,
haven't heard any of it.
the new Priest stuff from a few years ago. I listened to a couple of those.
I think
Those are
KK
really-
Downing's album that just came out is terrible.
Yeah.
Like the way I through the curve there. For me, the last I love that Anthrax album from 2015, For All Kings. I like I don't know.
I like the last. I like what.
My
Ghost-
Last Ghost was okay.
Oh wow! I
John
just said that
Pilger.
in that pop-up. Wow, crazy.
I'm a casual Ghost listener. I know a few songs, but I like them though.
I do too.
The first one I saw was
I
the
don't
one
know
where
that that Saldano. You know, people talk about Saldano, and the Ed's Marshall, the 5150s, and you guys are pretty familiar with the Van Hagar stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And unless you read it, you would have had no idea that was a different amp than the other two albums,
Nope.
because it all sounds like Eddie every time.
I will say this: as the albums progress, he used more and more chorus on his fucking stuff.
Oh, agreed.
I didn't like his sound on those early Van Hagar records. I thought it was way like thinner and not as much.
Yeah, but was that the mix
Over-effective.
or was that the amp? Because I think it was his original amp, wasn't it? I mean,
I don't know.
For Unlawful definitely had a more in-your-face tone, but it sounded like they were going back to the... Although Black and Blue, that's a great tune on OU812.
Mhm.
But yeah, way too much chorus. I make a carnivore cheesecake, Cheech, so I have that. No carbs, just all fat. Some protein. Yeah, the chorus sucks. And that's something that when I go back and listen to, I'll say this. I am not a big fan of the chorus on Screaming for Vengeance, although it's a much better album than the album after it. What was that called? Defenders of the Faith.
Yeah.
But I was listening to, I listen to Spotify when I smoke cigars, and The Rage came on from Judas Priest. And the tone of the bass, the guitars in that is so great. And the vocal, and then the lead guitar comes in, and I'm like, how did they mix this? Like, where did they think this was? It's like the most nasally covered. It's like the worst lead guitar tone they've ever had. I'm like, how do they put this in the mix? Like,
Plink,
they
plink,
had like
plink.
30 seconds left to finalize the mix. Quick, get it in there. Yeah, Black and Blue's great. Hey, Mikey. Yeah. I mean, like I said, when it comes to these amps, whatever it is, anything can sound great. You know, I've been watching Dan and Mick keep showing up in my feeds, you know, that pedal show. These guys honestly are like they're the James Lipton of pedals. Honestly, they're the fucking James Lipton of pedals.
When you play the pearly gates.
He was like, "Oh, listen how warm and bloomy that is." And they're talking about a pedal, and they're playing a tube screamer versus another one, and it's like, "Oh, the tube screamer in this context is so much, yeah, because it has compression, and your amp has zero compression. So yeah, you like that. Put it through a Marshall, even clean, where the amp has natural compression. You're not going to want that tube screamer there. You're going to want the other pedal there." But it's this like over-explaining every little part of the pedal. Oh, listen how it chops off the top of the yeah. You know, there's also a tone knob on the fucking pedal, asshole. Turn the tone knob and stop talking to me like this is the biggest epic of the fucking year. They drive me nuts.
Yeah, I get sick.
I think they're both decent players, but it's the same lick. So it's like, listen, we get it. You guys are good. You can play okay. You're not a guy that I want to hear play all day. So play the pedal for 2 seconds and then shut the fuck up.
Oh,
they play it for 20 minutes while one guy's noodling with every knob. And it's like, now it sounds like shit. What are we doing?
Dave.
Yeah.
Have you, by any chance, tried one of these Strandberg guitars?
No. I know the one they have the
Fans.
the fan frets.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm interested. I've been watching some stuff on them, and I'd like to try one.
I don't have
Adrian Strandenberg.
I don't have a Strandberg, but I do have a fan fret guitar, a Legator, and it was surprisingly easy to get used to. You would figure with the fan frets it'd be confusing.
That's what I've seen.
What confused me more was that it was a 7-string. I kept on hitting the bomb string like it was a friggin' E string.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say that they're like, you know, you think it's going to be hard to get used to, but it's like within a few minutes you get pretty used to it, and it's supposedly more intonated because each string is like got its own scale length, you know, and everything is more worked out that way. But also the way your hand moves when you come up this way, it's, you know, you start out like this, and by the time you get higher up on the frets, your hands kind of moved into that position that the frets are in. But as far as the neck, and the neck also, the back of it has a different curve to it, to where it starts out here and then it moves. Yeah, and it's supposed to follow the natural like flow of how people navigate across the fretboard. Because you think about it, you know, when people are playing scales and stuff, they usually start low on the E and work up high on the E. You know, they kind of take that path. And like, you know, the least used strings and frets are like, how many, you know, things do you play on the low E at the 20th fret? You know, you'd hardly ever use it. So
yeah, you can basically take all the frets off that part of the fretboard.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just interested to try one and see what it feels like. And
let me just answer Ben Tom, the jazz guy. I thought it was a low B. What was that guy's name that played jazz?
Smith, Johnny Smith.
The acoustic guitar player. He had a 7-string. He was one of those freaks that was unbelievable. Played for Chet Atkins and acoustic player. Just type in acoustic 7-string. It'll come up with the name. He was a jazz player.
Let's see, 7-string guitar. So no, I put in acoustic 7-string guitar player. It says,
what does it say?
First thing is Guitar World 15 of world's greatest 7 and 8-string guitars. I doubt
Lenny Bro. Thank you very much.
Lenny Bro. Okay.
Oh, fuck
I
yeah.
know Lenny Bro.
Yeah.
Talking about those harp harmonics. He used to like doing those too.
Okay. You don't mean Lenny Bro. That's who I was thinking you with. That's who I thought of when you said jazz 7-string.
That guy I read his biography, and that dude
tragic
it was tragic. But I mean, there were people that, like, you know, if he came into their house, he'd go in their bathroom and like raid their fucking, you know, medicine cabinet for like any drugs he could get. You know,
and the guy was just a great player.
And Chet loved him and like took care of him and tried to make him, you know, but he just could not kick kick the fucking drugs, man.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, no. So I've been watching those fucking guys, and like I said, I enjoy them, but I just think it's like it reminds me of James Lipton, and it just
I don't watch
drives me
any
nuts.
guitar shows or anything like that.
Well, I usually don't. Like I said, I've been basically watching gamers lately, and a lot of crime stuff, a lot of crime, investigative stuff where they
But I've been
interview killers.
I've been watching some of the urban exploring again. It's like I watched the clips of the most horrendous things found. Like they actually found bodies in it, and they had to call the cops in an abandoned building.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
Dave, you still have to get on Night Stalker, man. Kolchak.
Yeah, I know. I'm still.
I
Wait a
can't
second.
believe
Flick
you.
through.
I can't believe that you were not even aware of that show because it's a
You were the
70s
one that
show.
wasn't aware of it with Darren
Dave-
McGavin.
Darren McGavin, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it.
It's probably we're all the same age too, and
Yeah, it was never on TV here.
Oh, it was on TV
Oh,
everywhere.
in
No,
Massachusetts.
when I was a kid, I mean, it was like I was already too. I think I was too young.
Well, I was too young too. I'm the same age as you. I think it was Friday nights at 11:30.
Right, but I'm saying you were living in Rhode Island. I don't know if what channel you were watching, but
Yeah, CBS.
they didn't have it on WJAR.
CBS, so it was on 6
Oh.
and 7. So it was
Oh.
in Rhode Island and
Yeah,
in Boston.
yes, yeah. Speaking of Chet, are you guys watching the Midnight Special reruns on YouTube? Full episodes in order every Friday night. Wow, no.
What's that got to do with Chet?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, speaking of Chet Atkins in Nashville,
He got
his
sick. He
music.
got sick of hearing Chet, so he decided to change the conversation. on
No,
us.
he says, speaking of Chet, are you guys watching
Right.
this like Chet was on
And
the
actually,
Midnight
who was
Special?
speaking
Yeah, I
of him?
don't
We haven't
recall
talked
Chet
about him
being
for
on.
15 minutes.
All I remember is that
He was on it recently.
And I love when like Chet Atkins would be on Carson or something like that. And I tell my friends, it's like they didn't know who Chet Atkins was and never saw him play. I go, yeah, watch him. He's a great player. Then Chet Atkins would come on, just play the simple melody with the band or something. I thought he was a great player. It's like he didn't do half of what he could fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like
Chet
the
was good.
Mr. He was like the Mr. Rogers of guitar playing.
Oh yeah, he looks like George Bush, George W. Bush.
Playing Mr. Sandman. Oh, what's
He made it look too easy though. It's like-
Folks, don't forget to watch speed runs of Only Up. That's the name of the game, Only Up. It's pretty twisted. But this game where these people have to climb all the way up to like the moon, basically. Pretty nuts. But I mean, just saying, as a video game, like just the creativity of the people behind it and just what they use and the Cold States. Any thoughts on them guys?
Cold States. I have
hell?
no idea.
I don't know what the hell the Cold States are. Is that a local band in your neighborhood? I don't know what the hell it is. You know what it is?
The cold states. We live in the cold states up here.
Well, not right now.
Everly's. Why worry? Everly's
Stairs, the cold
It's
stairs.
from Evansville, Indiana.
The Cold
Formed in 2009.
Stairs. Okay. Cold Stairs or the Cold States?
Cold stairs. Yeah.
I don't know.
Evansville. Isn't that where Ryan's from? Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm from Indiana. Not
Oh yeah.
Evansville.
You're enough. Evansville's too south for you. You're north.
Yeah, yeah. I'm north.
74 here. You're so chill. Well, gentlemen, it's going to be almost a few minutes before I light up a cigar in my driveway.
Hey, no lists
and,
tonight, huh? No Joe.
hey, you got a list? Pull it out real quick. You got 3 minutes. 2 minutes.
Oh, I had one. Oh, by the way, before I do that, I was trying to remember that Lee Jackson amp. Perfect Connection was the thing they did. You remember those amps? I found top producers, record producers of all time.
Ooh. Is Lee Jackson one of them? No.
Okay, this is Smooth Radio.
Go ahead.
Okay, so top 20
Top.
best music producers of all
Quickly.
time. 20 is Sam Phillips.
Okay, from
the old Elvis and
yep,
Roy Orbison. Jerry Wexler.
from Atlantic.
Well, yeah, he did Aretha, Led Zeppelin.
On
Wilson
Atlantic.
Pickett.
He didn't do Zeppelin.
It says he signed or produced the likes of Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin.
Right,
Led
right,
Zeppelin.
yeah.
Okay, Joe Meek.
Oh,
He was his singles, Pioneer and Popular, Overdubbing, Telstar by the Tornadoes, whatever. It says Ray Thomas Baker. They mean Roy Thomas Baker.
yeah. Which I disagree with.
Babyface.
Okay.
They have to throw the mono. Okay, now it's going off the rails. Linda Perry.
I think
singer
Linda
of-
Perry did a good job producing
Four
that
Non Blonde.
the Christina Applegate album. Was beautiful.
Christina Aguilera, you mean?
Aguilera. What I
I
say?
was going to say,
Applegate?
married with children now.
No.
Yeah,
Christina
but she shouldn't be on
Aguilera.
the top 20 list.
That thing won Grammys, but that record was great. She wrote all those big hits on that album. And produced it.
Mutt Lang.
50-50. I like some of his stuff, don't like some of his stuff.
Brian Eno. Hey, he
I
did
like Brian
Devo's
Eno.
first album.
I like Brian Eno. I think Robert Margoloff is better. Who
He
did
did,
Freedom of Choice.
Duty. Oh, Freedom of Choice, that's it. Rick Rubin.
I like his personality. I don't really care for his records.
Prince.
Pence.
His production is not the greatest.
Paul Epworth, whoever the fuck that is.
Oh, Paul Epworth? That's I have no idea.
Adele, Florence and the Machine, Rihanna, Paul McCartney, Coldplay, and U2, among others. Tony Visconti. I've heard his name before.
He did David Bowie and some other
Bowie.
stuff. He's
Tony Viscosity.
T-Rex, Sparks, Iggy Pop, Mark
Sparks
Harmon.
too.
Berry Gordy, Motown.
Yeah, we know.
Jeff Lynne. They have Jeff
Brilliant.
Lynne at number 7.
Jeff Lynne's great. Again, I really like the Jeff Lynne productions when Mac was his engineer.
Brian Wilson,
No, go on.
Phil Spector,
No, go on.
Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones is good. What numbers is Quincy Jones at?
4.
If Gary Katz is not in this fucking list, all hell's gonna break loose.
What about Eddie
Go ahead.
Kramer?
Oh, God.
He's
You're going to
terrible.
love this. Number 3 is Trevor Horn.
He sucks.
Number 2 is George Martin. You know, he's going to be in here somewhere.
Yeah, overrated. I love Daniel Lenoir as well, Hugh.
Who do you think number 1 is?
Well-
he's a good producer, but
I would say, let me just say this. They missed Daniel Lenoir, who would be in my top 5. They missed Gary Katz, that should be in the top 5. I don't know about Ted Templeman being in the top 5, but he's definitely top 20.
Rupert Hine.
I'll give this away, but number 1 is a good guitar player and a producer.
It's going to be Louis Sheldon.
Nope.
Oh,
Should
wait
be.
a minute.
Just
Louis
think of a list. I mean, it's smoothradio.com. It's going to be someone.
Well, Louis
that-
Shelton did all the Seals and Crofts production.
Yeah, but someone that's going to be famous. He's more of a household name, I would say.
Famous as a guitar player?
Somewhat, yeah. He's played on a lot of the records he's produced.
Chet Atkins.
Bob Rock.
No. Oh, God.
By the way, I love Bob Rock's song. You got the eyes of a stranger.
That is a good song.
Okay, you want me to give it up?
Yeah.
Sure.
Nile Rodgers.
Ah,
Well, he's great.
Yeah, he
Great.
is.
But I don't think of smooth rock when I think of chic. I think of dance music.
yeah.
Sister Sledge, Diana
Well,
Ross,
it wasn't
and chic.
smooth rock. This is just best producers of all time.
Yeah. Again,
So,
Gary
I'm sure
Katz
this
is
comes up.
missed. Gary Katz is missed. I think There's a couple of producers I really like, Tommy LaPuma, but also what's the guy who plays bass that I like? Marcus Miller.
Oh, okay. He produced
Great.
a lot?
Yeah, he produced a lot of the David Sanborn stuff, and he produced
God, I know there's
Luther
a lot
Vandross.
missing. I mean, so there's a lot that are missing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, we all have different ears, but, like, good ears are good ears. I mean,
Well,
Daniel
even
Lanois
though-
is awesome.
Even though Linda Perry may have, produced a great album and wrote a bunch of songs and stuff, and it's probably a real talent in that area, I don't think she ranks in the top 20.
No, but I also don't think most of those, I think she should be there before some of those other people,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
And
I
all
don't think
Phil
the
Spector
Motown
did was
stuff,
add friggin'
those
orchestras.
Motown songs were great songs.
Yeah.
And you could literally just hit record and they would sound good. In fact, that's what I think he did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm not gonna fuck with it.
but he
Let's
didn't
just
produce
get
the
on.
What's Going On album, I'm sure. Because let's find out who produced that next week.
There's probably Quincy Jones.
All right, everybody. Hey, listen, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. It's 10:34, which means I'm due to smoke a cigar. And then I'm going to watch Dr. Disrespect. I think he went live today, and I'm going to check it out.
Hey, I got to write all this stuff down because I forget it as soon as I Dr. Disrespect.
Oh, yeah.
And what was that? Let's see.
Yeah, the other guy's name was Hollow that I told you. He plays all the haunted games.
Can you
where
still
it's-
hear me?
Yeah, but I can't see
My
you.
camera went out. It should come.
Perfect. We can still hear you.
All right.
Was it Dr.
Dr.
Destruction?
Disrespect.
Disrespect.
And then Hollow is the other guy that plays the
Gotta
all right.
watch movie Grave Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Grave Encounters. We'll watch that. And then let me just see where's my outro. There it is. All right, everyone. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank Matt for being here.
Thank you, Dave.
And can you tell me the name of the song one more time, Cheat, so I don't have to scroll up to find it, and I will listen to it as I get out of here. And and then Krelba, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for getting your camera off. We appreciate that.
I actually, when I reached down and opened the drawer, I pulled the camera out. So
Oh,
people
All
like
right.
this look a lot better.
all right, Cheech, put that in there before the song ends here. All right, which is you got 1 minute. Rock and roll's a vicious game. I'm on it. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging out, and as always, very good.
Very good.
Goodbye.